Good morning there. It's Josh here from Racing to Profit for one final time. Um, well, for festival week, not ever. Uh, Although who knows, if I win hundreds of thousands today, maybe I'll retire. That's not going to happen. Right, what am I going to do? Rattle through today's tips. I've got notes galore. I'm going to do a quick video is the plan, rather than me writing copious notes. Although I will detail any other danger horses below. Triumph Hurdle, couldn't care. Let's move on to the next. I can enjoy watching the Triumph Hurdle. I have no thoughts on that race whatsoever and will not be betting in it. The County Hurdle, which I've run through in the video above in quite a lot of depth, in essence, let me just click through what I had left and I'll focus on those. Let's get rid of you. Hold on. I'll keep him in and him in and possibly her. Right, yes, the tips on my stats shortlist of 13. Yeah, 0 to 2 distance wins, I think. Zero, I can't even read my own writing. 0 to 2 handicap wins, one or more run in handicap hurdles. I think I put that through Horse-Based Basics. Threw out 13 horses, of which Flying Tiger and the Robert Walford mare are on that list. Being rated 139 or lower is a positive, or has been, so that's good for Walfords. Having 11 stone 4 or less on your back is a positive if you ignore the official ratings, which is probably wise to do. And again, Flying Tiger hits those. Flying Tiger, I think, is going to go very well. Yeah, for the various reasons explained in the other video, but he's been running in graded races. He won the Fred Winter here. He's only gone up £6 above that. I suspect this has been a canny plan, and he should still be very well handicapped. I think he will appreciate the strongly run race for the first time that he'll get for the first time since he won at the meeting last year. Noel Feely, Nick Williams have a very good record together on hurdles, in hurdles. And then I've gone from 2 at big prices from the stats section 3. Gordon Elliott, can you imagine if he has a 33 to 1 winner of race 2 and I haven't tipped him and I'm not on? That's his biggest prize horse in the race. I just couldn't bear it. And you actually can make a decent case for the horse. And Whiskey Sour as well, who is also interesting and has an interesting profile for Willie Mullins, who has farmed this race in recent years. I think those 4, I'm pretty bullish that the winner's going to come from one of those 4. And I'll be blunt, if we don't get a return on race 1, I suspect it's going to be a very long afternoon, and I'll be bracing myself to come away from the week with 20 points profit, which will still be decent enough, because it does get a bit tough from here, and I've taken some proper flyers, which I suppose I've done in this race as well. Those ones you might want to consider that are also in section 3 stats. That's stats lists. Mary Devi, I won't put you off a saver on her, although I don't think she'll be good enough, but Paul Townend Rhines. Ruby Walsh was going to ride, but it's actually possibly more of a negative in terms of him in handicaps. Ben Dundee, I'm not going to put you off a saver of him. Look at the connections. I've already thrown a fiver on him, I think, on Betfair at some bigger prices maybe. And Duke of Desai, who I also think is not going to be good enough, but it's 10 to 1 and bigger, and look at the connections again. So I'm not going to put you off savers or throwing around some even kind of more confetti. Check your spare change drawer, check down the side of the sofa, throw a few coins at some of those for a bit of fun. And if none of those horses win this race, then it will be a very long afternoon, but I really couldn't make a case for much else. Personally, but I'm prepared to eat my hat. I will move on to the Albert Bartlett, where I will be brief. The last time I played in this race and tipped in it, actually no, twice I've tipped in this race when the ground was soft. Quite a slog, and I've found the winner twice, luckily. Very Wood at 50 to 1 in 2014 was that? That was put up on the blog. Half point each way, and Mags Mullins winner from a couple of years ago. This could be hard work. I wouldn't want to take a short price in this personally. I have just trusted my stats. There are, if I fly over to here, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 10 from 10 stats, where the 0 from X, so 0 from 38, are decent enough because the number of placed horses is pretty low. Now, these stats could be broken. Well, if there is a winner, not of the 2 horses I've tipped, then those 10-year profile will be broken. I highly expect that it will be. But putting those 10 stats through Horse Race Base throughout just 2 horses, and they are there, Kilbracken Storm and Mulcahy's Hill, they're 50s, they're 40s, they're name your price on Betfair. How could I not, having gone through the race with 10 from 10 stats, firing out 2 50-to-1 shots? I mean, I had to tip them, didn't I, for half a point each? Thankfully, I kept a point in reserve from the 11 points that I was prepared to throw around today. That's it. It's as simple as that. I'm not going to make unexposed horses, novices, running over 3 miles. They're going to need guts. They're going to need stamina. It's soft. It's going to be bloody hard work. They could be strung out all over Prestbury Park. I'm not going to overthink it any more than that. I don't know if they're good enough. I'm not going to judge their form. I'm just trusting the stats, trusting the price. Fingers crossed. Gold Cup, I have no real thoughts. Those of you who have read, I mean, I should have mentioned him when I did it, but before Christmas, I've mentioned him since in the last couple of months. Before Christmas, I put a £10 bet on the nose at Might Buy at 10-to-1. I'll be sticking with him. I wouldn't back him at 4s, certainly not in this ground, but he is the classy horse in the race. Our Duke might have more stamina and might outguts him if his jumping holds. Maybe you can make a case for 2 or 3 at bigger prices. I'd maybe be looking at Definitely Red, Ed Wolf, and Road to Respect. They're probably the 5 that I think are most interesting in this, but I will move on quickly enough as I tick round to 7 minutes. The Fox Hunters Chase. We have a free preview, free from Mr. Darren Pierce, who is a expert in the old Fox Hunter chasing world. In fairness, he wouldn't mind me saying it. I don't think his 3 fancies ran too well last year, but this year he's gone for Foxrock, Virac, and Banderslow, and you can read his in-depth thoughts. A lot of work has gone into this. Bit of entertainment there, bit of interest, something to take away, and you can read the summary, etc. So in the Fox Hunters, I will be playing with 5ers and just following Darren in because I have no real idea. Although, as I say that, I haven't actually looked at the pace. I haven't looked at the race at all. Should we look at pace? Who's going to be at the front? Are they going to be able to stay there? Anyone at a price? Unionist, David Maxwell, Grand Vision, yeah, I don't know. I'm just moving on. I don't know anything about Fox Hunters. And that pool of horses, so let's not focus on that. Now we're on to the Marked Pipe conditional jockeys hurdles. I tick round to 8 minutes. Where are my notes? I'll find them somewhere. They're not there. Hold on. I should probably pause while instead of kind of talking on. Give me a second. Right, yes, I'm back. Sorry, I found my notes. So 450, there are some okay stats pointers, aged 5 or 6, moving in class, basically not running at the same class as last time out, which was class 2. 0-1 runs at the track, 0-4 career wins. Now that leaves quite a long list. I think, I forget which, not 1 or 2 runs in handicap hurdles. And that left a list of Delaire d'Estruval. Where is that one? Here for Ben Pauling, 50-1. I'm not sure it's good enough. Early Doors, handicap hurdle, Joseph O'Brien, 10-1. Bit out of form, but interesting. Discorama, who I couldn't really miss. I'll get on into a moment. Arthington, who I wasn't really sure would be good enough at all, but you never know. No Hasselhoff, which I thought was interesting. I don't think it'll be good enough, but you might get £2.50 at Betfair SP for a laugh. And Burrows Saint was the interesting one. That one I have put a saver on, or a little nibble, which is a fiver for me. I bet at £20 a point, as some of you know from my own tips. Burrows Saint has got kind of a fiver, I think. I don't like Mullins' stats in handicap hurdles debutantes, but this one hits all the stats, and Lizzie Kelly is a decent jockey booking. What am I going to focus on? Yes, those horses from that originals list that had 0-1 hurdle wins are 5. So this is out of 9 races, 5 from 15 runners, 7 places, which I thought was interesting. And the 2 that hit that are Discorama and Burrows Saint, which maybe I'll regret not tipping Burrows Saint, but we shall see. I mean, those stats could be nothing, could be nonsense. The profile might not even point to anything. But Discorama for Paul Nolan, I was just hoping that maybe this horse could possibly get into the top 4, which would be nice, or top 5. I'd recommend getting 5 places if you can. But what I liked most of all was his only win was in a big field maiden hurdle. He might actually appreciate the pace. He might appreciate the hustle and bustle. And look at the horse that he beat. Blow by Blow, I've also tipped, who's top of the weights in this. Then he runs at Limerick in a heavy ground race. Doesn't really do anything. Small field. Thirst, small field, novice. Maybe that indicates he's actually not good enough. Then he tips him into a Grade 2 hurdle. Good headway to 3 out. Track leader in second. Not quick and 2 out. He ran there as if he wants to step back up in trip. It was in a Grade 2. I'm not quite sure how strong a Grade 2 it was. But at 40 to 1, given the stats he hit, given that very, very, very interesting profile, the jockey is decent enough in the sense that he has a 10% strike rate on all hurdlers, and actually 25% of all of them are finished in the top 4. That's decent, especially considering that he races in and he's based in Ireland, given he is not attached to any of the very, very powerful yards, although I suppose Henry de Bromhead actually is quite powerful. So anyway, he must have some ability about him for that trainer to employ him. Paul Nolan's have been going okay. I mean, it's hard to tell, and they're not exactly out of form. He's only ever sent 5 horses here. The horse should appreciate the pace, should appreciate the trip. 40 to 1. He might not be any good at all, but I thought, let's go down in a blaze of glory. Burrows Saint is on that 2 of those interesting stats points, so I won't put you off. It's Willie Mullins. Maybe this will be a handicap Davidson winner. Lizzie Kelly is a good booking for hurdles for this track. She does ride it well, in fairness, or has been. What else have we got? And Blow by Blow was the other tip. I mean, I suppose I couldn't not tip Discorama, given that he beat him, and then not have a go on this. He hacked up in a Grade 3. He ran okay to a point, I suppose, in a Grade 1. He stays a bit further. He will appreciate the big field, strong pace, and these Elliott Gigginstown horses always have stamina. Cheltenham always taps into stamina that as yet may not have been discovered. What do I want to say about him? This is a compressed handicap. Look at the bottom, 136 to 144. There are only £8 between top and bottom weight. There's a case to make in that situation where you can just go with class and go with the proven form horse. And the class and the proven form horse is Blow by Blow. I thought at 12 to 1, let's have a go. The jockey has quite a good record on the trainer's horse, I think, certainly on place stats. Hopefully he runs his race. Yes, the other thing that caught the eye, he won Punchestown's Premier Bumper, beating Moonracer, who I assume at the time won the Cheltenham Bumper. So that's pretty solid in that year, and won this festival bumper. Sorry, so he's clearly got some ability. It's not impossible. He's £10 in. It's not impossible. He's the classiest horse in this race by far, and he just demolishes them. Well, has enough class to win anyway by a couple of lengths. The rest look much of a muchness. I'm clearly not going to put you off any Gordon Elliott horse. Certainly not those kind of 16 to 1 or shorter. Sire de Burlay, maybe that's worth a saver. Who knows? But he just has more handicap form. He needs to step up, but might well do. I didn't really like any of the Joseph O'Brien horses, and all of the British look a bit mediocre to me, as they have been all season. All week here at Cheltenham, pretty much, and especially in handicap hurdles. The Brits have really, really struggled, bar top of the game for Paul Nicholls. Thank the Lord he got beaten into second. What else do I want to say? I don't think there's anything else there. You've got the stats in section 3. There are pointers there. Have a look at those. See if there are any at a massive price you want to have a little dabble on. It's that kind of end of week feel, isn't it? Party feel. We've got profit assured. We've had a good week. We've had great fun. That is the main thing for betting £2.50s, 5s, 10s, or maybe 20s. Hopefully you have had a good time, and just make sure you don't blow it all on the last day, or whatever you do, you can watch the Gold Cup with a smile on your face and enjoy the last 2 races, come what may. And then we get on to the Grand Annual. Famous last words. I don't think I've ever found the winner of this. I've kind of changed possibly how I look at it. I'm not quite sure. Maybe I'm just getting a bit better in my old age at the festivals. which is always the aim, to try and get better. Sorry, I'm scurrying around and looking at my notes again, which are here somewhere. Where's the notes I want? Oh, there they are. Right, yes. Again, there's a few stats pointers for this. Had run in a grade 1 or grade 2, ran 26 or more days ago. We're moving in distance by a couple of different areas. You can see per the stats pack. 1 to 3 runs in the class, which is grade 3. There are also some other pointers. 3 to 13 chase runs, 0 to 4 handicap chase runs, 0 handicap chase wins. 11 stone 6 or less on back as a kind of guide, and there is only one, well, there's 2 horses that tick all those boxes, and I haven't ticked one of them, so blimey. Some Plan ticked all of those boxes. He fell last time out, but he was going well. He gets Noel Feely today. He does have a touch of class. I thought his handicap mark might look okay. If he'd have stood up there, he'd have been arriving in form and might be a bit shorter. He has form at the course. He has form at the festival. Not great form. He hasn't placed, but he's run okay and pitched in highly. For a 10-year-old, he's quite lightly raced. Interestingly, every running of this race in the last 10 years has been won by a different trainer, which is interesting in itself. Hopefully, Henry de Bromhead can add his name to that list. Townshend also hits all of those pointers, and I will not put you off a saver off that one for quarter stakes or half of those, whatever. Hits all the stats, but I couldn't make a case the chaser. I thought there were questions to ask. Jumping a test like this, I wanted to see a bit more, but I could be wrong, and it's Willie Mullins, and he has won this race before, I think. So those are the only 2 that hit all those boxes. Dolos actually hits all of those boxes as well, bar the being £2 higher to £2 lower than your last run, but that is not a 10 from 10 stat, I don't think. Just a kind of positive pointer. He is interesting for me. Can Paul Nicholls finally get on the board at this meeting? Maybe not, but this horse might give him a good go. He is just unexposed. 5-year-olds have won this race. Paul Nicholls has won it once. He is a very good jumper, Touchwood, but he did make a mistake a couple, 2-3 hours Sandown. That probably cost him the race, but I'm just intrigued to see him around here. He ran at 16 furlongs, so he has at least run at the festival, so the fact Nicholls has even run him at this meeting before suggests he must think he has some ability, and he's been running okay. I just think this big field might actually bring out the best of him, best out of him. That's the hope. And that his jumping, Touchwood, has been pretty good. So hopefully the fast pace, he can stay out of trouble. And Harry Cobden can have his first festival winner. That would be good for the young lad. So that's Dolos. I wanted to have a go at him because he hits all of my main stats as well. And the final one, Dresden, doesn't hit any stats. Let's just ignore the stats. He was 40 to 1. 40 to 1 and 33 to 1. What the hell were they doing? Price too big, simple as that, and I had to have a go. Why did I have to have a go? Well, he comes here in form, which is more than can be said for most of the rags in this race. He has won his last 2 starts. He's stepping up in class, but look at the marks he used to be on. 149s, well stuffed. 1-4. He won off 144 though, and he's on the same mark here, so the handicap mark isn't a problem. Yes, his legs might have got a bit older, he might get a bit more tired. He probably isn't a 144, 149 horse anymore, but have a look at his record. He has turned up to this meeting and to this race twice. The first time, Chase Leaders jumped right, disputing close third when fell 4 out. He was probably going to go quite close then. It looks like he wants soft ground, and the rain has come for him. He then ran in this race last year, where he's the 7th place night midfield, hampered. Then a mistake, lost place, ridden, struggling to go pace after 3 out on the fast ground, stayed on after last, not reached leaders. If he can build on that run off 147, so he's £3 lower, on the softer ground, if he's not hampered, if he can track the pace, he arrives in better form than he did in that race. Henry Oliver is in superb form. Quite an exciting 40 to 1 shot, I think, and he's also top rated on GG's speed ratings. He's in the top 6 for horse race base as well. Dolos appears on a couple of the ratings, so I think there I've got 3 horses of interest. They might all fall out the back of the TV, but for 3 18 to 1 plus shots, I'm quite excited about this race, but then I've been excited about every race I've been hurtling myself towards this week. What other ones do I want to mention? I think those near the top of the weights might be struggling. I think their handicapper is known. Vaneter, I think, wants better ground. People think he's a pipe plot job. Maybe he is. I just kind of think he might have lost his way and not be any good anymore. They haven't given him a wind up, and they haven't given him blinkers for shits and giggles, excuse my language. They clearly think he needs help, which he might well do. And that might help, but I put myself off. The other ones of interest, Le Presien, who drops back in trip, 90 days off, has run well in this race, might appreciate the softer ground. I won't put you off a saver off him. Who else did I think looked interesting? I've already mentioned Townsend. The other one, Bouvril, to a point, because Sam's on, I suppose, and the horse has very, very good Cheltenham form. I kind of think he might get outpaced on this trip. The pace they will go even on this ground, but I could be wrong. He might run all right. I think the ground might have gone for Thienval. And in any case, he did run well in this last year. I think people think he might build on that because he's got festival form and ran well in this last year. He might run all right. Do It for the Village might be worth £2.50 at Betfair SP, just because he has decent form. His hurdle, I don't like his prep for this personally. Maybe they've just been protecting his chase mark. I wouldn't surprise me if Paddy Brennan got him into kind of 4th or 5th. I'd be mildly surprised if he won, but I wouldn't fall off this seat in total shock. But that's interesting. I think those are the ones that were most interesting. Oh, I should mention 3 Stars, who at least comes here in form for Bromhead. I wondered if he might be good enough. First run at the track, possibly. Or I might just have made that up because he might have ran here before. Let me have a look. Yes, I have made that up. I thought that was in the memory bank somewhere. Ran on a grade 2 here. So he's interesting. He's in form, this Bromhead. So they're the... How many have I mentioned there that I think it's between? The Presien 1, Dolos 2, Sunplan 3, 3 Stars Prophecy, that's the 4th, Townsend 5, Dresden 6th, and Do It for the Village, kind of 7 there, and I've tipped the 3 that I definitely like the most, probably by quite some way, but I will not put you off. Small change, dabbles on those if you want, and if none of those 7 win this, then my God, it's going to be a painful race for the wallet. But by this point, we will have backed the 40-1 winner, or 33-1 winner of the County. Will have backed the 40-1 winner of the Martin Pipe. We'll have backed the 50-1 winner of the Albert Bartlett, and we will be on cloud 9 and in dreamland. You've got to be positive in this day and age, and in general, and in life. I suspect it's a very tough day. I've gone from some proper pokes. Please do not be surprised if they all lose and we do not get a return and 11 points is lost. If finishing on 20 points is not enough for you, half stakes, if you so want, I'm bullish and I will continue betting and be consistent all the way through. But that, of course, is totally up to you if you can live with half stakes, say, on one of those winners if he goes in. I will leave that completely up to you. Do dive in to all these various stats that have done very well. Well, most of them. Certainly the trainer owner notes some of these micros here, some pointers, more pointers there, the notes for JP, for Gigginstown, the trainers there. There's a few crossovers, a few jump out. Ben Dundee, as I touched on earlier on, definitely worth a saver. There's the in-depth county video. So I tick around the 24 minutes, the shortest video in terms of whole race preview of the race and of the week, and that's that. I'm going to shut up, let you get on with the rest of your day. I hope you've enjoyed the watch. I hope you've enjoyed the week. I hope you've enjoyed the read, and fingers crossed we can do well. We move on tomorrow to the Midlands National, which I've won twice in the last 4 or 5 years. 1 year when Guniella won at kind of 10-1. It rescued the week. I've yet to have a poor festival week, but I think I was on 0 points maybe, and he ended up I could 1 or 2 points profit maybe from the festival, and we ended up kind of 10-11 for the week, for festival week in the end. And last year tipped Chase the Spud at 20-1 to add to the 42 points profit from the week, from the festival week. So I'll try and do that. So you've got that to look forward to tomorrow, and that is also paywall just for members and those of you who have paid just for festival week, and your membership also takes you through to the 25th of March. So yes, I will leave it there. Where's the tips? If I can count, there we go. County hurdle, all there. log in, have a look, enjoy, and let's have a great day. This is Josh saying thanks for supporting me this week. I hope you've had great fun at the festival, and until the next time, which won't be long, this is me saying enjoy your day and bye for now.